And we're going to have to cut you off there because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is speaking now. Let's listen in.
כוחות הביטחון, הרפואה ואתם אזרחי ישראל עם רוח ההתנדבות הכבירה שלכם שמרגשת את העולם כולו. כולנו מגויסים, כולנו מאוחדים. עוד רבות יסופר על מעשה הגבורה של עמנו בימים האפלים של כאב ויגון, של אותה שבת ארורה, סיפורים שישזרו בתולדות ישראל. לעולם לא נשכח את מעשה הזוועה שעשו לנו אויבינו. שוחחתי גם היום עם כמה מהמשפחות שאיבדו את יקיריהם, או שגורלם לא נודע.
I have spoke with a lot of families who lost their members or have members who are missing. We will never forget what have been done, all those terrorist acts, and we will not forgive. And we will not anyone forget this tragedy. We are listening to the Prime Minister of Israel, who is delivering a speech in Tel Aviv, and that is talking about what Israel is currently doing. We support our country, and we will eliminate Hamas, and we will make victory. It will take time, but we will finish and end this war stronger than ever. God will revenge from all our enemies, those who attacked us. Thank you.
Okay, that was Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, speaking very briefly there. We're going to go back to Marwan Bashar, Al Jazeera senior political analyst, and from what we could hear from Netanyahu there, he didn't say anything that we hadn't heard before, Marwan. There's certainly nothing about this evacuation order for northern Gaza.
No, absolutely not. In fact, I caught up his words in Hebrew before the translator came on, and he's basically trying to emphasize that Israel is united and it will never forget what happened to it the last weekend. These were his opening words in Hebrew. And I think he's trying to channel the sort of voice of unity and steadfastness of the Israeli public and the Israeli military as it embarks on what seems to be, some very tough, long war, painful war, as the way he put it in earlier times. And I think it's clear that he's presenting himself as a wartime leader now. And it's also, of course, he's having this unconditional backing from the West. So I think, and I can imagine, as the Sabbath takes hold in Israel, I think there's going to be a lot of reflection about the day after the Sabbath and how the Israelis are going to be tackling the war in Gaza, which, as everyone seems to understand, is going to lead to tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of casualties.
Yeah. Just on the evacuation order that Israel gave almost 24 hours ago, if you ask 1 million people to move and they don't, what happens after that?
Well, that's the thing. I think Defense Minister Gallant was asked that during the press conference. In fact, at the end of the press conference, and I think he seems to avoid the question. He kind of just shook his head, and I think we've heard from the White House that this is going to be impossible. That you cannot just give people 24 hours and expect 1 million people to just take off under some sort of an order of an enemy country, right? So I think it's clear now to everyone, including those in the United States and at the United Nations, that this is not doable. And hence, when he was asked whether he's going to have to postpone it or whether there's another deadline, again, he tried to avoid an answer, because I think Israel does not have an answer now to the ultimatum that they've given about 24 hours. This is certainly not workable, and clearly there's complications to its implementation, even if it's giving 72 hours and more, because the people in Gaza, including Hamas, of course, have a different opinion about this. It's not just because Israel gave an order that means that Palestinians who are, enemy of Israel are just going to now follow through on it. Of course, a lot of families with a lot of children will probably try to look for safety, and that's natural. You would expect them to, especially now that they will be, looking for some sort of a shelter in the southern part of Gaza. But I think many, as it seems, we've seen from some of the demonstrations now in Gaza, that many decided just to stay put. That will probably complicate everything furthermore. But I think it's normal also for people who have faced a trauma in their past about, refuge and displacement and redisplacement, that they feel that as if their destiny now is in their hands and in their very near future. And I think they don't feel anywhere in Gaza is safe. And as we've heard also from the various of your guests as well, that a lot of people just cannot take off and leave.
Yeah.
A lot of people are sick and elderly, children, and who don't have even means of transportations. And what do you do with a family of 7 once you just, take off and go somewhere south? Where are they going to sleep? How are they going to eat? How are they going to survive?
Yeah. I just want to go back to the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken's little tour. He was in Doha today. He's also heading to Saudi Arabia, among other countries. Is this a box-ticking exercise from the US, do you think?
In some ways it is, because clearly, I think this is a very important question. In some ways it is. They want to show that America, has the ears of all the sides, and maybe even some sort of a consent of sort, even if it's implicit. And certainly they're going to need all the help they can get from their Arab partners, as it were, when things get, much worse in Gaza. So I think opening channels with Arab capitals is necessary. But I think it's also more important that they're trying to get as many people as possible, as many leaders as possible on their side. But as we said before, the statement from the Arab League is already clear. While the Arab League is not taking, a tough position, they're not condemning Israel. In fact, the Arab League statement basically equated between Hamas and Israel, which was unheard of before this weekend, in the sense that the Arab League has always taken the position that whatever the Palestinians do under the under the headline of resisting occupation, and that there is no equivalency between the occupier and the occupied. But this time around, the Arab League statement seems to equate between the two. So already the Arab leaders are giving in, although 4 countries, in particularly Algeria, Iraq, Syria, and another country now I can't remember. Anyway, they definitely registered their objections to the tone of the statement. So all in all, the Arab capitals are trying now to convince the United States to hold back Israel from causing a major tragedy by a land invasion of Gaza.
Okay, thanks so much, Marwan. We really do, as always, appreciate you breaking it all down for us. That is Marwan Bashara, our senior political analyst.